What is up, you guys, and welcome to the Chosen League podcast, where fire sports content is the name of the game. I'm your host, Devin. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload an episode. Watch this episode all the way to the end because I don't want you guys missing out what I have in store for you today. So, the Las Vegas Raiders have finally found a head coach. They went out and got Pete Carroll, who's right now 73 years old, one-time Super Bowl champ. He was his 14-year span in Seattle. He made the best of his career, and now he's back in the NFL after spending 1 year out of the NFL. So, with Pete Carroll in mind, his response to the head coaching hire, he says, "I competed pretty hard to be the coach. Just so you know, my intentions to return, that was true to the bone. I want to make sure that's clear as things have shifted so quickly," Carroll told reporters. So as we know, Pete Carroll he's always on the go. He's always, you know, getting things done. I mean, before this situation came up, he was going back. He was the instructor at USC, and now he's back in the NFL after spending one year away from the game. And talking about Pete Carroll, question for discussion. What are the expectations for Pete Carroll? What's really going to happen? What can you expect from Pete Carroll? Well, we already know that he has experience of what it's like to coach a team. He has experience of making a deep playoff run, getting guys motivated, getting guys going as a head coach should. And he has Super Bowl experience because he's been to the Super Bowl not once but twice, and he's 1-2. So when you look at Pete Carroll's history in the NFL, his body of work, he spent 4 years, or really 5 years, with the New York Jets. But in that 5 year span, for 4 years he was the defensive coordinator, and 1 year he was a head coach. He spent 2 years at San Fran with the San Francisco 49ers as a defensive coordinator, 3 years as a head coach for the New England Patriots, 14 years for the Seattle Seahawks, is a one-time Super Bowl champ. So he's been around the league for years. We're talking about 73 years old. This man right here, Pete Carroll, we are talking about, understands the game. He understands personnel, player personnel. He understands his opponents. I mean, look at what I said earlier, his history in the league. But also, Tom Brady has had a lot of influence on the Raiders when it comes to, being a minority owner, knowing, recognizing talent. Like I said, the Raiders believe that Tom Brady is the guy to seek out talent at the quarterback position, but he had a lot of influence of getting Pete Carroll here to be their head coach. You got to understand, when Tom Brady was in the league still playing, Pete Carroll was still there in Seattle. So they've went against Tom Brady before. He understands he understands Tom Brady. They both have that mindset of a winner. Looking at the Raiders right now, 4-13. Antonio Pierce is out of the picture. Pete Carroll is now here, and they've been through some tough times. I mean, looking at their roster, it was always a battle of that quarterback position because you had Aiden O'Connell as the quarterback, and then Gardner Minshew, who, it was like we really can't decide who the quarterback is. But looking at the roster, as I said, Aiden O'Connell, who is their quarterback, also has Desmond Ritter, their second quarterback. Jacoby Myers, who I feel like, honestly, that's their best wide receiver. Don't sleep on him. He gets out there and gets it done, running those routes, getting those getting those yards when needed for the Raiders offense. Brock Bowers, their tight end, he's also an X factor as well. When Jacoby Myers, maybe he gets double teamed by a defensive back, the defense is playing zone coverage. You got Brock Bowers, their tight end, big tight end, good on short routes, whether it's going across midfield or going towards the sideline, doing an out route or in route, curl flat. You know what it is. and also Max Crosby, their best defensive player. Really, that's the team captain on their defense. But he was on injury reserve. So that's the Raiders roster. They have a lot of things to work with, and this upcoming draft, the 2025 draft, they're looking to draft a quarterback with the sixth pick in the draft. So it's really up in the air. I'm happy for Pete Carroll. I believe that he is going to help this team get out of that slump. I mean, they also have a $94 million salary cap, so they got to work with that. That $94 million cap space, they got to work with that. And having the sixth pick in the draft, that's great. Now you just need to draft a quarterback who can turn this franchise around. A quarterback who has that winner mentality. And I know I talked about in my other episodes. I believe that Shador is the quarterback that they need. And like I said before in my previous episodes, you can go check it out when I talked about the Raiders drafting the quarterback. Shador is the guy. Shador is going to bring wins. And Tom Brady and Shador, that's really Shador's mentor. He worked out with Tom Brady. He looks to Tom Brady as being the GOAT, best quarterback in the game. And, it makes sense. But will the Raiders pull it off? And also, Mark Davis, the owner, talked to Shador at a WNBA basketball game and said that you may have found a home here. And Shador put on his story on Instagram that while he was passing by the Raiders stadium, he titled he put his caption on his story legendary. He wants to go to the Raiders. And also now it's like it's up in the air. Could he go to the Raiders or could he go to the Titans because the Tennessee Titans have the first pick? But the last thing I want to cover before I end the show, as we know right now, since Pete Carroll is down there in Las Vegas with the Raiders, could there be a possible reunion with Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson? And as we know, Russell Wilson's situation in Pittsburgh, he had to prove to them that he was still a quarterback of substance, that he had more left in the tank, that he could still perform at a high level. And he showed that. Took them to the playoffs. They made a playoff run. It didn't end in their favor because they lost to the Baltimore Ravens at basically in Pittsburgh. So, hey, you let them come to your house and stomp you. Mm. But anyways, a reporter, a reporter, Howie reported that Wilson and Carroll have mended fences, and that a reunion between the coach and quarterback could provide a stopgap for the team as it searches for a long-term answer at quarterback. They need a franchise quarterback. Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll's chapter in Seattle, that was that. That's it. Pete Carroll right now is at a new chapter in his life where he's going to be there to coach another quarterback who isn't Russell Wilson. I mean, he did it with Geno. Now you're starting over. So let's see what happens. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. What are the expectations for Pete Carroll? Once again, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload an episode. I'm Devin, and I'm signing off.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show.